Hi, guys. You are watching the rest of the story. And what you're watching is me getting ready to cut stalks last night, or shred stalks. I'm using the Rhino 4155 flex mower, and I got to tell you that I really like this machine. It works really well at grinding these stalks up. I pre had it running right down on the ground, and I was able to move rather quickly. I didn't have to really slow down at all. Well, here's a quick comparison. With this 15-foot cutter, I'm able to cut 3 times as much material at 2.5 miles an hour faster than when we used that 3-point mounted cutter for the back of the tractor, because that's all we had. We didn't like using the disc bind to cut stalks because stalks are really hard on those disc binds, and we liked the shredding action from using a cutter. So this Rhino mower, I've ground through all of this in a matter of, it took me 3 hours to cut 100 bales worth of corn fodder. When I say that, yes, I do have the bales made already. My videos are kind of jumbled up here, so I'm trying to work through them again. But what you're seeing me doing is I'm going around the outside of this strip. I'm knocking down the weeds that came up on the outside round, and I'm grinding down these stalks. The cutter I actually have, it's skimming right along the ground, and from baling the stalks up today, it knocked the stalks off right at ground level. There's maybe 3 or 4 inches left that it didn't get, which is fine with me, because when we get the bales moved off, we will be going through and chisel plowing it anyway. I cut this with the intentions of, I didn't cut all the corn stalks at my place, just certain strips, because I'm going to be doubling up the strips at my place in the front third of it, because the strips through here yet are still the narrow strips that we used to farm when we were milking cows. Now everybody knows that we have a 30-foot corn planter, a 25-foot VT, a 23, no, my John Deere 630 is right under 25 feet. The implements are getting bigger, which means the fields have to grow to accommodate them. And we've been gradually, every year we've doubled up a different farm. So we weren't doing it all at once and run into a potential yield drag from planting a whole bunch of corn on corn and beans on beans on those contours, because it does show in our yield. We can see it on the monitor anyway. So the hit is easier to take when it's just one farm a year. And after next year, we'll have to see. The next farm, the last farm to do, is actually going to be Ryan's place where Ryan lives. But we're intending on planting a bunch of alfalfa out there, and we're still planning on leaving the grass hay. I'm going to call it grass hay because the hay is dying out of it. It's probably down to just above 50% of the hay stand left. But the reason we have to leave that is because when you reseed, let's say 40 acres of seeding, you're only going to get maybe 2 decent cuttings off of it. Now the 2 strips up at Rockville that we reseeded this year, I only got 2 decent cuts off of it, and they didn't yield very well at all. Say the first time we cut it, I only got 6 bales off of it, and then the second time I only got 5. So we will be fertilizing for our hay in the future, but we definitely got to get more of those 4-legged critters around. I'm really not that crazy about doing bottle calves right now. These farms, over the years from having cattle on them, we did manage to pick up some bugs that we thought would have been cleared up by now. and we are going through the process of disinfecting and going through a protocol for taking care of it. Now, the only things I'm really concerned about are bottle calves. All the beef steers, the feeder calves, all of the beef cows, they are all fine. What I'm talking about as far as bugs that I'm worried about, it's the bugs that are going to bother those week old, 4 to 5 day old bottle calves because they are so easily susceptible to any little bug. And I had a little bit of an issue last winter with them, and I gotta tell you what, I'd rather not have to do that again. Which that in itself, not knowing whether or not that I have a appropriate plan to take care of it properly, is keeping me from wanting to fill that barn up full of bottle calves, and then just to find out that I should have been doing something a little bit differently than what I'm already planning. So I don't know. Guys don't plan on bottle calves around the farms until you actually see them. But I really would like to get some beef heifers around. I really would. But I'm actually kind of leaning more towards making my equipment payments. The 76 is almost paid off, and then once I get that paid off, all I'll have left is the 82, which would take a bit of pressure off me as far as where my money and really goes at the end of the year, and I can start investing a little bit heavier in cattle. But I chalk that up to a necessity because we needed the equipment to farm. But I can say from lessons learned that I really do want to start investing into more things that are going to make us our money back. I've said that. That's been a pretty common staple I've been saying throughout the summer. Like I said, this year, half of last year, so we've expanded our income sources. We're not just solely depending on just corn and beans or just cattle. Say we have a couple off-farm sources of income that are coming in. And no, I'm not talking about my dad. I'm talking about myself and my brother as far as what we're doing to bring cash flow in. I am trying to pick up more land because more land actually would allow me to cash flow things out a little bit better. That's why I have actually let ground go instead of picking up ground. Some of these places that have called, you talk high rent, but they're actually higher than what would actually be considered high, to be honest with you. It's just the way it is. I have no intention of going bankrupt farming and being smart enough to walk away from a potentially bad deal. You gotta look out for yourself because no one else is gonna look out for you. So that's why I've walked away from, was it 3 or 4 phone calls so far. But as you can see, I just that was a full one pass on that strip. I'm just starting back in now. The only problem I have with mounting the camera in the front of the tractor like this, you guys can see that it does pick up a lot of vibration going across the field. And I do have it set up to vibrate as little as possible. I have the mount straight up, so the actual suction support is supporting it better than if I would have had the mount and the camera sticking straight out from it. So you're actually looking right about the height of the steering wheel on the 76 is where this is on the outside of the tractor. I didn't do any outside shots with the round baler as far as any rear view shots. And the reason I'm doing this is because it seems people appreciate being able to ride along and, they get the tractor driving experience. But what I'm going to do is when I get done talking, I'm going to turn the sound back on And I'm going to let this video run for another 5-10 minutes with just the tractor running, and you guys can listen to the tractor run as it's going through the field and it's going up and down some of those hills. This strip, I believe, is not the on the steeper side. The hills, I think you guys have seen them in the last couple days. They're actually on the lower part of this front section of my place, and I was just running the camera here now because I already had it set up from when I started. But I don't know. I got more to talk about, but it's already been going on 11 minutes. So what I'm going to do is say, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I appreciate everybody that takes the time out of your day to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and turn the sound on. You guys can sit back and listen to the 76 work for 5-10 minutes, or take this as goodbye, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.